In a world where depression and mental health is front and center, you probably have considered therapy, or maybe you've been hesitant to share your information with a stranger. In this episode, we're talking therapy. Do you need therapy, or are you soft because you think you need therapy?
You're listening to the Modern Kings podcast, your source of life-changing information for upgrading your lifestyle and unlocking your keys to success. Welcome to Modern Kings.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, King Prime. I can be found at IamKingPrime.com. In today's episode, we are diving into therapy. I'll be sharing my personal journey, what worked, what didn't, and why you should consider therapy. So what is therapy? It's a bit more than sitting in your chair and spilling your guts. My short definition of therapy is, it is a support space for individuals to navigate life's challenges, improve mental well-being, and enhance overall quality of life. It's an investment in yourself. And you may be wondering, why did I seek therapy? Why did I seek therapy at some point in my life? My first time in therapy, I was trying to keep my marriage together. My second time in therapy, I was trying to keep my marriage together. My third time in therapy, I was trying to keep my marriage together. There's more to this story than that. So in that area, right, I am a resilient person. I'm a fighter. I do not like quitting. I do not like giving up. I will turn over every rock for a solution to make something better. For that particular case, I found out that the problem was bigger than what I was equipped to handle. Now, a moment of transparency, that marriage did not work out, but I feel so great because I freaking tried. I laid it all out there, gave it my all, and things are going to be what they're going to be. And now the benefits. Why you should consider therapy. There's mental health support. There's so many ways to address anxiety, stress, depression, and trauma. You can improve your relationships. These relationships through family, friends, professional networks, and romantic partners. These are the people that we spend the most time with and around. You can learn coping strategies because life is always changing. The only constant with life is change. And when that change comes, not if, but when, you want to know how to deal with it accordingly and effectively. Through therapy, you can also normalize your experiences. An example of that is you think that something is so strange and weird and unfair that it happened to you. And another person's perspective, a professional's perspective, can show you that this is normal protocol, normal behavior. Even though it sucks, they can show you that this happens and this is how you deal with it. It is a support system through crisis, any crisis that happen. And ultimately, this is all promoting a greater life satisfaction. It also reveals that the problem is bigger than you. When you're in it, you feel like this is my problem. This is just me. I'm misunderstood. But wait, take a step back. Take a step way, way back. And then you look at things like your childhood. You look at your parental guidance or lack thereof. You look at your romantic relationships. You look at traumatic events. These things all have patterns that you can't stitch together yourself. All of those experiences shape you. It shapes you. It shapes your experiences. It shapes your belief system. And all of those things, those are just yours. You are only 50% of the equation. Now, whomever else is on the other side, that's a whole nother 50% with all those other dynamics. This is why you need help. So what you want to do is find the right therapist. Here's my experience. In my time of dealing with therapists, I've had the listener, the silent type. You talk, they listen, they nod, you pay, you leave. I've had the yes man and the yes woman who will agree with everything that you're saying. And personally, that doesn't bolster well for me because I want to be called out. I can't take action on something when you are just agreeing with me. Then you've got the catch me up type of therapist. Not like how's your week been? I mean, catch me up like the entire session minus 2 or 3 minutes. You're talking about your life. In this experience, I felt that I was entertaining my therapist for the entire session because I'm talking about experiences. This stuff is hilarious, right? What I'm sharing. And she finds it hysterical and she's just laughing, and I walk away with nothing. I'm just as empty. I'm emptier when I left than when I came. So therapy for me isn't about telling a good story. Then there's the therapist. I kid you not. This therapist told me, look, if I see you in the streets, I don't know you. You don't know me. We don't acknowledge each other. I was like, the fudge? So right now, I need you to drop a comment below if you've had a off experience with a therapist. Holla at me. Let me know. But I've also had some good therapists. I've had some therapists that have really been able to help me to practice things that help me to reset, help me to look at things from another person's perspective. And I like the fact that I was resilient enough to hang in there and to fire therapists and to keep the journey going to find the right person. And if you're seeking a therapist, don't let a bad experience ruin yours and your quest to be a better person, because your therapist is out there. Now there's the spirituality and the religion aspect of whether people choose to adopt therapy or whether they choose to not adopt it. And I don't have a knock against either. I have sought and received incredible counsel from men and women of faith, and it has greatly benefited me. And in my opinion, some pastors, elders, priests, they are essentially a form of mild therapists, for lack of better words. They care deeply and consult, advise, counsel many people and encourage them. They just don't have the paperwork and the clinical practice to back it up, but it is a benefit. What I want to point out is that there are some areas that simply require professional help. Yes, pray about it. Yes, seek wisdom from on high about it. But you also have to use judgment. You have to know and keep in mind that there is a degree of separation, that there are some things that you just need to seek professional help about. Here's some other considerations. Be careful who you allow to access your internal files. Not everyone deserves access to this area of your life. When too many people have access to your life and you share with too many people, you're essentially becoming a victim, because now you're borderline complaining and you're also arming people with information to share news about you. And people love to share news about you. So you've got to find a trusted place. You've got to find a secure, confidential place to share this information, while also improving and being a better person on the other side of this. And that is one reason why I think therapy is so important. Can your friends help? Yes. Can your family help? Yes. Can your family help? Yes. I'm just simply saying, don't rule out therapy and professional help. It's also okay for you to interview your therapist to see if they're a right fit, because they aren't always a match. Now, if you don't have medical care or a medical plan, here are some tools that you can use. I like to use the Calm app. It is $69 a year. It has various meditation options on it. And there are times where I personally need a reset. You don't have to admit yours, but if you do need a reset at some point, that is a wonderful resource, a wonderful go-to tool. There's also BetterHelp, betterhelp.com. It is a therapist website. Sessions are $99 per session, highly rated, and I recommend that you give it a try. I am not endorsed, I am not affiliated, but I know it's a tool and a resource, and I know it works. Listen, life gets rough sometimes. And sometimes your biggest goal is to make it through the next 60 seconds, and then the next 60 seconds, and maybe the next hour, or maybe the next day. The same energy that it takes to complain is the same amount of energy that it takes to create a solution. You do not have to wait until tragedy strikes to take action. There's this acronym that I learned years ago called PMCS. It stands for Preventive Maintenance Check System. It's important that you are able to know yourself well enough to know what throws you off, to know what affects you, what bothers you, what gets you in a mood, so to speak, what makes you feel some type of way. And when you know your checks and balances, you can regulate that. And regulating that could very well be through therapy. I've had my fair share of doubts about therapy. I've struggled with where do I go? I've struggled with who can I talk to? And I want to tell you that therapy has been huge for the challenges that have been thrown my way, thrusted up on me at particular times. So I want you to consider it. Thank you for tuning into this podcast. I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you. Wherever you're listening to this, please provide a 5-star review. If you know someone that could utilize this, do them a favor and share this with them. Follow me on YouTube at King Prime. Follow me on Instagram at iam.kingprime. Once again, thank you. And until the next video, look your best, do your best, and be your best.